Bonjour à tous, c'est moi, Jasper Buckingham, here again from top10fragrances.com, and I'm going to do a review today about a perfume which was created in the late 1920s. And actually this is probably a great alternative to the other two perfumes of that time that are quite famous and still quite famous. Le Monstre, which is Chanel No. 5, and also Joy by Patou. So we're talking about Lanvin's Arpege. That's the bottle there. As you can see, it's very, very Art Deco in its design. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And if you look at the little logo on the front there, allegedly the official jargon is that this is a mother getting ready for a ball with her daughter, but it's so Art Deco, as you can see. Well, I hope you can see on the camera there. The top is what they call a godron, and this is a bit of a design feature of Lanvin, and actually is on all the furniture in their boutiques. So you can see it's very, very interesting stuff and classic Art Deco looking as well. Available as a 50 or 100 milliliter, this being the 100 milliliter bottle. And the bottle itself was designed by a chap called Armand Albert Rateau, who was a famous decorator of the 1920s and 1930s. And in 1927, Jeanne Lanvin created this perfume and dedicated it to her daughter Marguerite, who was actually a violinist. And she came up with the name, being a musical person, Arpege, which is based on the Italian word arpeggio. As you probably know, that means an elegant broken chord, a musical term. So in 1993, this perfume was actually reconstituted or reformulated, and allegedly it's really close to the original, this new reformulation. Now I don't know if that's the case, guys, but if you do and you've smelt the original, please leave me a comment and let me know if that is the case. So history of the brand, it was formed in 1889 at 22 Rue de Faubourg in Saint-Honoré, which is that famous sort of long shopping street in Paris, and it's still going strong as a sort of fashion house. They produce very ready-to-wear luxury clothing and accessories, and also perfumes, obviously. So let's talk about how this stuff smells, and I've done what I always do. I've sprayed some on this hand and let it dry down, and I'll put some fresh stuff on this hand here. This is a classic and confident scent, and it's got a bit of an old school perfume vibe about it to me. You know, some perfumes are a little bit frightened to be too perfumey. This is not. It seems to be happy being arpege. Arpege is arpege. The facets blend in perfect harmony, and I guess it's a little bit like a really good orchestra, which is quite apt really with its musical name. And I think, in my opinion, many full-bodied floral aldehyde type perfumes of a similar ilk, including Chanel No. 5 and also actually probably Van Cleef & Arpels First, they tend to be a little bit too aldehyde for me. This isn't. This is really clever actually. So top notes, well, there's lots of aldehydes in there, and there's bergamot and peach and orange blossom and honeysuckle. Heart notes, well, there's lots of florals. It's like a big bouquet of florals, or bouquet of florals. And there's rose, jasmine, yang yang, lily of the valley, which probably gives it that old school vibe. It's quite clever. The jasmine actually leaves, or starts out and leads with a very indolic note, which dies down very cleverly as well. There's coriander, there's tuberose, there's violets, geranium and orris. The violet's actually quite obvious in this perfume too. Best notes, very clever again. Sandalwood, vetiver, patchouli, a lot of the classics there. Vanilla and musk give it a nice softness as well. And then there's Styrex. Now Styrex is quite an interesting one actually. It's a beautiful sort of dry, smoky, spicy, slightly leathery and incensey sort of facet. And it all melts together really, really quite cleverly, as I said. What happens is as well with the aldehydes, which suits me quite nicely as well, because I'm not a big fan of aldehydes in huge amounts. The aldehydes tend to soften themselves I don't think it's because of the musk and the vanilla in this, but it works really cleverly. Longevity, well, 9 out of 10 in my opinion, and CR is the same, 9 out of 10, because it throws itself quite nicely. And again, I think this is probably a perfume that where I would say less is more actually. You know, if you wore too much of this, it would be slightly too heady and probably do people's heads in, as we Brits say. So when would you wear this? And would you wear this as a male or a female? Well, I certainly wouldn't wear it. It's definitely a female perfume, in my opinion. And I think it's one for the autumn. It's got a really nice brightness which kind of reflects the sort of light of that season. It's slightly subdued, which is really quite clever. It's very, very easy to get hold of this stuff as well. And I think it's incredible value for money when you consider the price of perfumes like Chanel No. 5. Parfums NDP, for example, sell this for 100 millilitre bottle for 46 euros. Now I don't think you could buy the bottle for 46 euros. It's probably worth more than that itself as an empty bottle. You know, it's just so beautifully made. And 50 millilitres is 40 euros. So it's really, really good value for money. And don't forget, guys, you can get the decants from Parfums NDP. And they're great if you don't want to just sample the perfume without sort of committing to buying a bottle of the stuff. But actually at 46 euros, you can't go wrong either way. So that's the review on another classic, a modern classic in my opinion, Arpege by Lanvin. And I will see you next time I do the review. Thank you.